Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Thursday, May the 24th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning, we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. We do create multiple hypotheses. We do not know what the market's going to do. We generally have Hypo 1 and Hypo 2, which are our two trade plans. Then we wait for the market to open up, see who's taking control, and then execute the plan that best suits the market. We do create two alternative hypotheses, maybe sometimes a fifth, but basically we're looking for expansion possibilities and what happens when we go into a trend. I got another comment on the videos being too long. I am doing this live for our members, so it's important for me to maintain a morning routine with them and to give the context before I put the hypotheses in so that everybody understands why I'm looking at the levels that I'm looking at and why my hypos. If you don't want to go sit through that, just if you're watching the video, skip to about 15 minutes in. That's usually where the hypotheses start. So before we get going, just so everybody read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Looking at yesterday, we had three main hypotheses because of the context. One, we were gapping down. So the main hypothesis was an open auction in range, a move up, and then a failure to close the gap, and then a rotation down and a move down into this 96 area. Then basing and starting to work our way back up. That didn't happen. Hypo 2 was a gap and go day, which would give us a bigger move down into the 2600s. That didn't happen. But Hypo 3, which was equally weighted to Hypo 1 and Hypo 2, did basically eventually play out, although it did look like we were in Hypo 1 until they had the failed auction here with the break of the IB low, and then the buyers stepped in, and then we went sideways. We've been doing this a lot lately, just going sideways during the most of the day, and then of course we're waiting on the FOMC, and the FOMC was good news. The market reacted, and we ended up going. We didn't quite get as high as I thought. I thought we'd close around the 27s, but I thought we'd get a bigger push into the 36, but we have seen some continuation in the Globex so far. So we're basically back inside balance. A couple of things that is interesting is the VPOC for the microcomposite from the February 2nd shifted from down here at the 68, 69 area up to the 19, and then the VPOC from the balance here, it shifted down to the 1475. So that's clearly buyers stepping in and accepting this price between the 14 to the 19. So if we're going to get continuation, which it looks like we are going to see, then we need to hold these prices here at the 19 to 15 area and get the continuation, and then finally get through this 41.75 area. Our 41.75 is our key line in the sand above. It is our week high. It is our month high, and we've rejected it twice. Now the value area shifted with this move as well. So now value area has shifted up from that 18 area up into the 40 area, coming in line with the top of this microcomposite distribution that goes from the 10th till today. So we still have a pretty blunt profile right here. You can see we on the micro composite in this area. This has been indicative of this market where we see the value area that is very boxy with undetermined fair value, and we're seeing this on the daily basis. We're seeing this on a daily basis with the micro composites, and we're seeing it with the composite as well. So even though we're accepting prices higher, we're still getting these wild rotations and no clear price acceptance within the value area. So just keep in mind, you got to be careful not to get behind and get stubborn with the trade, because you got these larger rotations and these moves that are coming out of nowhere. Key levels to pay attention to, of course, is going to be the 14 to the 19. So far, we've rejected the mid from yesterday with the low overnight. But I'm thinking a move back up into the 29, and if we can accept this price, we can see if we can break out of yesterday's range and out of the value area high of this, I think it's an 8-day now, micro composite, and a push through and a final breakout of this 41.75. If we fail again at this 41.75, then that's not going to be a good sign. Next time we've got to break through this, get back outside of the large balance that we're in between the 40.75 and 27.75, and finally make that move up into this 56, and possibly a move up into testing that 2800 again. So let's just take a look at the news. We did have ECB didn't really the market didn't react. It got a little bit of a push down off of that news, and then jobless claims came in, and they came in slightly better than expected, but the 4-week average increased, so kind of again just didn't get a big reaction. We have house price index coming up in 5 minutes. Not really a big mover. The big one today will be we've got Bloomberg Consumer Confidence in 50 minutes, and then at 10 o'clock we've got existing homes. Natural gas, Bank of Canada review at 10:30, 10:35. We've got another Fed speaker, Bostic. 11 o'clock we've got the KC Fed, and that's really the 1 o'clock we've got the 7-year note. And 2 o'clock, we've got another Fed member speaking again. They've been speaking all week, and it's been, the week of the Fed speak. I don't know why they have to talk so much. So let's just take a quick step back. Every day, I like to start my day with a simple candlestick chart. I start with a monthly. Whoa. What did I just do there? I start with a monthly, and I work my way down. What I'm doing here is I use a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I'm looking at where we are in the trend. Do we have good slope, good separation? Are we challenging the trend by testing the 9? Are we violating the trend by breaking the 9 and the 20? You can see monthly trend very much intact, but we've been testing the 9 EMA, but we keep bouncing off of it. The trend is intact on the larger time frame. Weekly looked like we were going to get a rollover, but here we are back above the 9 and the 20, and looking at possible continuation with slope and separation. Still not there yet. We're in this consolidation, this symmetrical triangle, but it does appear that the continuation could be to the upside if we can just break that 41.75. On the daily, same thing. Looked like we were rolling over, but they took it back, and here we are holding above the 9 and the 20. Got some separation, don't have a whole lot of slope. Again, still undetermined until we get above that 41.75. Going to the intraday, the 4-hour, same thing. Big time consolidation. We're we're coiling to make this next move, and we're in this balance. And once we break out, the move should be fairly decent, depending, in either direction. On the smaller time frame, the 30-minute, we have come back down, and we're breaking below the 9 and 20 and coming back into this support level here. But again, the big one is going to be holding this level here and not breaking below that 1475 area. So we looked at the big picture. Our overnight inventory is pretty balanced. I'd say it's about 60% net short, but you can see indicative of what we've been seeing time in and time again, the value area being very boxy, very toothy, and really no determined fair value. We do have a VPOC shift up. If we could shift back down, there still is more time to shift back down into the 26. But the key is that the VPOC, the price acceptance, is rising. Okay, up towards where we were earlier, up at the 36. So taking a look at the levels from overnight. Our overnight high, 33 and a quarter. Our overnight low, you can see, is basically right at the mid from yesterday, and basically the price acceptance that we had before the Fed, and then the breakout, and we went from balance into a mini trend, and no clear value here. They'll probably have to balance this out right here, and we could see some chop early on as we fill in this area of yesterday's profile. You can see we've been filling it in the Globex. We could get some continuation, into the RTH session. Other than that, there's no real information. I'll be watching to see if this does shift for the Globex VPOX does shift down to this 26. But right now, I'm going to put it up here because that's where it is right now, and it is at 32, just below the overnight high and just above the naked close. We are going to get a small gap, but we are going to be inside of the prior day, but outside of value. So in terms of hypotheses, we could end up, I'm going to tell you right now, we could end up with a balancing day in a tight range, but basically I think that the upside is going to be where we want to be trading towards. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for an open auction in range just outside of value. I'm looking for a rotation down inside of the value and looking to take out the overnight low, dip down into this 19 to 14 area, find buyers, and start working our way back up, fight the 33, break out, and the target is going to be 36 on Hypo 1 with a possible probe up into the 41.75, but closing somewhere here. We might even get a push into the mid and up to our daily ATR. Our daily full session average true range is running at 28.18. So off of the overnight low of 27.20 and a quarter, our upside daily ATR is up here at 48.50. Off of the overnight high, our downside daily ATR is down here at the 27.05. So you can see that this is, as the daily ranges are shrinking, we are getting this continuation pattern up into into a breakout, a possible breakout. And again, the breakout is really going to probably kick in once we break through this 41.75. So Hypo 1 open auction in range outside of value, a dip into value, and possibly a move down into the 19. Might even go down to take a trip through value, but I expect the low of yesterday to hold and then a move up targeting this 36 and 41 with a possible late day probe up into the 48.50, but eventually coming back and closing down in this 36 area. Typo 1. Hypo 2 is a open auction in range out of value, a push up into the 33, close the gap, a false breakout, and then somewhere between 36 and 41, those sellers step in once again and rotate us back down into the balance, the shift of the longer time frame micro composite, and come down into the lower distribution and chop around here with maybe a late day probe to come down here and test this mid, but eventually coming up and closing in around the 19 to 14 area. That is hypo 2. Hypo 3 is going to be a continuation day up, a breakout day, and a open auction in range. Failure to take out the naked VPOC, find buyers early, take us outside of the range, come up here, base at the 36 area, and then come up, break through the 41.75 up into this 49, and then get the continuation up into this gap up here at 55.75, this former micro composite in the 60 area, and that is, and closing up in this area. That is hypo 3. Hypo 4 is a breakdown, open auction, in range, out of value, a failure to break above the prior day high, quick move down into the 1914, chop here, fail, and then push through into the mid gap, chop here, and then push down into this 96 area before it starts basing and working its way back up and closing somewhere in the 2705 area. So those are my 4 main hypotheses for ES. Gold starting to rally. So we come back, we broke the key level that we were talking about up here at the 1990, broke through the 1304, got the move down into the 1290.80, the composite VPOC, going all the way back to 2008. We are looking for a chop around here. You can see that the buyers keep stepping in below, and now we're getting that move back up into the 13. I'm looking at the possibility of selling the 13 to the 1304 level. Unfortunately, I missed this part of the move while I was doing my prep work today. So I got to wait for them to come back up here and see if they fail. And then I'm looking for a continuation back down into this 1290 and possibly lower into the 1279.60. If we break above the 4 and we don't fail at the 06, then I'm off of the short idea. I'm looking for rotation back up into the 14 to 19 area and a continuation back up into that 26 to 29 in the next few days coming into the weekend. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry about that. Anyway, so key levels to watch on gold, 1300, 1304. If they fail here again, look for them rotate down. Might find a little bit of support here at the 94.80, the value area high of this micro composite, but ultimately look for them to come down into the 1290 again. If they come up here and they get into the 1300s, look for them to push through to the other side of this balance at the 04, and then if they break above that, target is 1306.40, base here, and then a continuation pattern up. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.